Hello traders, welcome to Zion Traders. So today we are going to analyze AUDUSD. Before we take a look at the technical, and let's quickly check out the fundamental perspective, right? So right here, coming to Forex Factory, we can see AUD CPI as of May it came out positive, right? 2.4%, actually above expectation, right? So this was the forecast and it came out this way. This is actually very positive for AUD, right? So saying that this is actually the YOY, so which is year of year or year on year, whichever you want to use. And it's actually very positive for AUD, right? And it strengthens the currency, right? So looking at the employment change as of 15th of May 2025, employment change was released and it came out positive, which is 89K from the initial 36.4K, right? This actually signals growth in Australia economy. If we come and take a look at the GDP, we can see the GDP for Australia is actually less than expected. Look at the first quarter of 2025. This is actually very, very, very bad for AUD in the long run. We see that these guys here, which is the CPI came out very good and also AUD very good, but then the GDP, which is the broadest measure of economic activity and the primary gauge of economic set is actually negative. It means that AUD currency, which is Australia economy, is actually not so cool right now currently, right? So this is actually very negative for AUD as a result of economy that is not growing in long term, right? So, and because of this, enough for ROBA for to stabilize and to make just to encourage more economic activities ongoing. They had to cut interest rate, or we'll call it cash rate in this case, but both of them are almost the same thing, just there's a slight difference, right? So I don't want to go into that. So they had to cut the cash rate to about with about 25 basic points, and this is actually it weakens AUD currency very, very well. So what should we be expecting in the short term? Look, because of this right here that we have the CPI and also the employment change, which signals that the economy is actually there's actually growth, right? A short term growth. We should be looking at a short term gain on AUD, but in the long run, in the long term, we should be looking at bearish, right, movement. But for the meantime, we would love to see a consolidating movement on the market, right? So as for USD, I actually talked about this on my last video, and we can see that Donald Trump called for 100 basis point for interest rate cut, but Fed officials they actually refused to do that. But comparing it with AUD right now, we can see that it's actually much more better. Seeing that as of USD, the CPI actually came out also positive, right? And it's that is actually very great for US. And also, if you look at the economic growth, it's actually almost the same thing with AUD because there's a decline. The difference now is that if you look at it, because of US economy is actually growing, it's better off than that of Australia currently. If you look at it, because of the stagnancy or the a decline in growth of AUD Australia, the ROBA they had to cut interest rate. But then, if you look at the that of US right now, which is Fed they refuse to cut interest rate, right? So that actually speaks volume. It means that there's a level of economic stability in US other than that of AUD, which is Australia currently. So if we are trading AUD USD, actually in the long run, currently we should be looking at sales fundamentally, but in the short run, AUD is actually going to be strengthened. Looking at the CPI and the employment change, right? So which came out very positive. So this is our technicals, and as you can see right here, let's quickly take a look at what we have. So on the weekly time frame, we can see there's a break of structural bearish, and currently we have a change of character bullish. And remember what I always tell you guys: a change of character is signals a possibility for a reversal, right? So from what we see right here, we can see that this guy is would say is actually positive, is actually bullish currently on the weekly time frame, right? So on the daily time frame, we see that the market is actually more of consolidating currently. So what we should watch out for is the upcoming Aussie inflation data, right? ROBA statement and Chinese economic numbers, because this will actually drive the next move on AUD. Let's go to the 4 hour time frame. So on the 4 hour time frame, we can see there's a break of structure. It's actually not kind of ranging. We're actually waiting for another break to happen right here on the 4 hour time frame. So once another breaks happen right here, we also look for a point to enter to continue this movement, right? However, when this break of structure happened, I actually took a trade from here around this point, and yeah, I'm actually out on my trade already. So I took a trade around this point, and currently I'm simply waiting for another break of structure to happen bullish, and I will wait for price to come to this very zone. That's if a break happens. If a break doesn't happen, I'm not looking at taking any trade. That's it, guys, for AUD currently. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what I do here, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. God bless you.